Have you ever said yes when you really wanted to say no? Maybe you found yourself bending over backward to avoid rocking the boat, even if it left you feeling drained or invisible. If that sounds familiar, you might be what's known as a people pleaser. But where does this urge come from? And why do some of us end up living our whole lives for the approval of others? Stick around, because in today's episode, we're peeling back the layers on people pleasing, how it begins, why it happens, and how you can finally break free. I'm Anastasia Emmons, a clinically trained and practicing hypnotherapist. What exactly is a people pleaser? At its core, people pleasing is the habit of prioritizing others' needs, feelings, and desires, often at the expense of your own. You might think of yourself as nice or easygoing, but deep down, you probably know there's more to the story. People pleasers are often deeply uncomfortable with conflict, terrified of disappointing others, and prone to putting themselves last. But did you know this pattern almost always has its roots in childhood? Let me share a story. I once worked with a client, we'll call her M, who as a child grew up in a home where her parents' mood set the tone for everyone. If her mom was upset, M would try to fix it. Her dad was stressed. She'd tippy-toe around him, doing everything she could to keep the peace. Over time, M learned a dangerous lesson. If I make everyone happy, maybe I'll be safe. Maybe I'll be loved. Sound familiar? Maybe you've lived it too. Here's another one. A client I'll call Jay grew up with a parent who praised her relentlessly for being the good girl, the one who never caused trouble, who always helped out, who never talked back. But the moment Jay had a need or an opinion, the praise stopped. The message was clear. You're lovable when you meet other people's needs. Your own needs, not so much. The origins of people-pleasing almost always trace back to these early dynamics. As children, we're wired to seek connection and approval from our caregivers. It's literally a matter of survival. But when love and safety feel conditional, we learn to shapeshift. We become the helper, the fixer, the peacekeeper. Now here's the twist. What trips up so many people pleasers in adulthood, this pattern doesn't just make you tired, it attracts toxic relationships. Why? Because people who chronically give without boundaries are magnets for those who chronically take. I've seen it time and time again in my practice. People pleasers often find themselves drawn to partners, bosses, or friends who are controlling, critical, or emotionally unavailable. The people pleaser bends, adapts, gives more and more, hoping deep down that enough self-sacrifice will finally earn the love or acceptance they're craving. But the scales are never balanced. The more you give, the more the taker takes. You end up feeling resentful, exhausted, and ironically, lonelier than ever. So, what can you do about it? Is it possible to break free from people-pleasing for good? Here's where hypnotherapy comes in. If you've never tried it, you might be picturing swinging watches or mind control. But hypnotherapy is actually a powerful research-backed tool for changing deep-seated patterns, like people-pleasing, right at the source. What if I told you that in a relaxed hypnotic state, you could actually meet the younger version of yourself? The part of you that first learned it wasn't safe to have needs or say no. In hypnotherapy sessions, that's exactly what we do. We guide clients into a deeply relaxed state where their conscious defenses are lowered, and together we revisit those early memories, not to relive the pain, but to rewrite the script. For example, I worked with a client, let's call him R, who realized during hypnosis that he'd been carrying his mother's anxiety for decades. In the session, he was able to reassure his younger self, it's okay to let go. You don't have to fix everything. The relief was cathartic. It's like finally letting out a breath you didn't even know you were holding. Rewiring these patterns isn't about blaming your parents or your past. It's about bringing compassion and understanding to the parts of you that learn to survive by pleasing others, and then teaching those parts that it's safe to have boundaries, safe to honor your own needs. And here's the best part. When you heal that inner child, you show up in your adult life with more confidence, clarity, and authenticity. You attract healthier relationships, ones that don't require you to shrink or abandon yourself. So if you've been nodding along, recognizing yourself in these stories, maybe it's time for your own transformation. Ask yourself, where am I still playing small to keep others happy? What might change if I finally made myself a priority? If you're curious about how hypnotherapy can help you break free from people pleasing, I invite you to reach out. Book a free consultation. Let's talk about your story and how you can start writing a new one, because you deserve a life where your needs matter, your voice is heard, and your love for others doesn't cost you your own well-being. Thanks for listening. Until next time, remember, the most important person you need to please is yourself.